that idea is kind of growing on me. Like we don't use cameras in our work or whatever, but I think like that's how I would like to frame it as what if what if we just got regardless of if we have cameras or whatever, it's what if we just got really fit, so we just kept getting bulkier.
Yeah, like
Videos,
as
we
a
just kept getting
joke.
stronger.
Yeah.
Yeah, as a
Hey,
joke.
yeah, as a joke. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to this shit. Um,
The
I'm
DeLoreans.
Jack.
He's
Yeah.
I'm Taylor. You're
And
playing Phoenix Wright, Ace Attorney.
and y'all, I've been catching up on the Marvel Phase 4. And
Ah,
I have a lot of things to talk about with the MCU.
yeah, I
And the
guess you do,
and
huh?
the first and foremost thing that I want to say is stop saying that Thor: Love and Thunder is the gayest thing ever, with fucking Owl House sitting right there and getting canceled for being the gayest thing
I
ever.
I don't think I don't know about you, but I had never heard anyone. I mean, I had the only time I had heard Thor: Love and Thunder mentioned was just that they were like disappointed, but I didn't. I hadn't heard specifically like that's why they were disappointed.
It's very
I was telling
disappointing
Lou
because
Jack before the show. I was telling Lou Jack that like I had so many problems with Thor: Love and Thunder that like the lack of representation was like on the list, but like it was like there was just like basic like plot writing and character management that was so much higher. And I was telling him it's kind of like doing a review of Army of the Dead, which I keep saying Army of Darkness, and luckily we weren't recording at the time because I was a big fool, and I was like, oh wait a minute, those are two
yeah.
separate movies made by entirely separate people.
They have nothing to do
They
with
both
each
have
other.
Army of in them. But
Uh,
Army of the Dead, the Zack Snyder thing, I, it's kind of like it's analogous to like doing a review of Army of the Dead, where you could make a list of like 15 things that went wrong with the movie's production or were bad decisions, or times they used a weird camera lens for uh, a scene that like should have used a different camera lens, and you could like fill that entire list and still not get to be and someone would be like, hey wait, didn't wasn't there also robot zombies? And you'd be like, oh yeah, I forgot to add that to the list. That's me, but with Thor: Love and Thunder, where I'm like, yeah, they undercut this character, they undercut this character's motivation, they did this, they did that. This was kind of dumb, and then I, then it's like, oh wait, what about the disappointing character moments? I'm like, yeah, that too.
I, I will say this for Thor: Love and Thunder. I enjoyed it more than I thought I would, but I'm also kind of an easy person to entertain, and my opinions concerning the MCU should usually be taken with a grain of salt. Like, the worst thing
What a
about...
charmed life you live.
Yeah, that's just where I'm at right now. Like, the worst experience I've had in Phase 4 so far was Eternals. Eternals was just really boring, and like... What was up with that ending? Like, Sprite did not earn that ending. First of all, there was no moment where she was like, oh, maybe I fucked up or maybe I was wrong. She just got to become a human without owning up to her shittiness. And also, wouldn't it take less energy to just, like, age her to an adult? Like, her whole thing is she wants to do grown-up shit, right? You're telling me that you have enough energy to literally manipulate and transform a person's genetic makeup in their entire species, and somehow that takes less energy than just shapeshifting them? Like, you can't just fucking shapeshift her?
You know, this is why I like streaming with you, Lou Jack, because we'll have the same problem with something, but like approach it from different angles. You've got a good point with the transmutation thing, but me on like a philosophical level, I'm like in no universe, if I were an immortal like a robot magic person, would I say, oh, turn me into a human so I can age into a normal? No, I'd be like, no, just age me up to like a hot 30-year-old.
Yeah, just age me to a hot 30-year-old and let me be in my prime forever.
Exactly. But the Marvel universe isn't ready for more. The Marvel universe isn't ready for more hot women.
No, it's not.
It's terribly afraid of them.
And
in fact,
it's afraid of hot women, and it's afraid of gay people. Hey, look, if y'all want something that's gay, go watch Owl House. Like, seriously, go watch Owl House. Not only is it the gayest thing that's ever been on Disney, but it's the gayest thing that's ever been made for kids. And Denise Terrace deserved way better, and she does not deserve to have to put up with the job of making Disney look good with how homophobic and shitty they are.
Dude, can you imagine? Like, keep in mind, like, they're probably still under, like, Disney contracts or whatever. But you know how, like, nowadays Alex Hirsch, like, does whole presentations about how, like, Disney, not like whole presentations and.
Oh yeah,
Twitter,
it's Dana Terrace. Did I
like,
get her name wrong?
I think it's Dana. You know how Alex Hirsch will go on Twitter and be like, so yeah, here's what I wanted in the show. Here's what Disney allowed me to do, and yeah, Disney sucks. Well, I really hope that we get that moment with Dana Terrace, like, after the show's production is wrapped, where they're no longer under contract, and she's like, oh, sorry, I'm being a little loud. Where she gets to be like, all right, now that that's wrapped up, let me tell you what really went down. Oh. Like, I hope we get that moment where it's like, yeah, so we wanted to add this and that, and that didn't, and the studio was like, no.
Yeah. Man,
I remember
Owl House deserves a real third season.
The YouTuber you linked me with, I don't know where they got their information, but they were saying that they didn't like the school bits very much, and according to someone else, that the Hexside school things were added as an executive order from, like, higher up, and that they weren't originally going to be in the show, which is funny because it's like on one hand, I could totally, like, see the show going, like, full full Adventure Time, where you have a character that is like a coming of age story, but they're not going to school. But on the other hand, like, on the other hand, I'm thinking, like, actually, it is kind of weird when a character, like, doesn't get to hang out with a bunch of other like, school is a really good excuse to meet a lot of other characters and to spend a lot of time with them.
Yeah, it is.
You don't need it, but it's very convenient.
It is very convenient. Also, She-Hulk needs to quit talking to the fucking audience. Stop it, She-Hulk.
Are you currently watching it, or did you?
Yeah, I just watched, like, the first episode. I've started the second one. And
the funny thing is, as someone who read through a lot of the old ones, like a bit of Savage She-Hulk, a bit of Sensational, like, and then pretty much all of the modern stuff, and up until I think a few issues of the more recent, like, Gray She-Hulk arc, which I think was pretty neat.
Is she still gray, or did she go back to being green again?
I don't know if she's still gray. I'll have to get back to you on that.
Yeah.
But the thing is, it's like, I remember hearing about it, and before I knew, like, how tongue-in-cheek the show was, I was like, no, She-Hulk isn't a fourth wall breaker like Deadpool. Talking to the reader, like, 2 times in the last, like, 50 years does not make a character a regular fourth wall breaker.
Yeah, you think you're Deadpool. You're not Deadpool. You might have broken the wall before Deadpool, but it was not your gimmick, and you can't just suddenly make it your gimmick.
I suppose that's... But, like, the thing is that I can't be that mad because I know how much of a nerd Jessica Gao is about She-Hulk. It's just I have to just have to disagree with her interpretation instead of her just not getting the character at all.
Yeah.
Like, it's less of a me at Zack Snyder where I'm like, oh, you just don't understand this, and more of like a, like, oh, well, I thought it would be a better show if she's talking to the camera and as a sort of dramatic aside. And it's like, I can see some kind of merit in that. But it is, what's the word? it's harder to pull off than I guess.
What if,
I
yeah, what
realized.
if it was like Office style, where you just have her like in an interview style or whatever?
Can you imagine if they
You're
had
just like, yeah, they hired me
MC
because I'm a Hulk now, and that's the only reason. Is that, well, what is that? What is that even? I don't want to represent Abomination. What the fuck are these people doing? He tried to kill my cousin.
Also, I don't know if this is a joke. I don't know if this is like how much of a meta joke it is, but this is my interpretation because it's funnier if you interpret it this way. But when She-Hulk is on the phone with when Jennifer is on the phone with Bruce Banner, um, they're talking, and she's like, "All right, well that's a good idea, whatever." And then Bruce just hangs up abruptly, and she's like, "Oh, okay, bye." My interpretation
Yup.
is, oh, it's because she's a TV character and he's a movie character, and movie characters don't say bye when they hang up.
That's why.
That's just a thing. Like that's once you notice
Uh,
it, you can't unnotice it. You'll start to be like, oh, like characters don't actually say goodbye when they hang up. They just hang up, and
they
then the
just hang
audience is
up
like,
and
yeah, that makes
leave.
sense.
Yeah.
But when you think about it, you're like, that would actually be really weird and abrupt.
Yeah, it would be very weird in real life. Also, fuck, what was I gonna say? Hawkeye. There was a moment in Hawkeye where they did this stupid Dragon Prince thing, where
What?
there's like a character
There's a big egg.
signing. Yeah, they do the Dragon Prince thing where there's a character signing for a signer when everyone in the conversation speaks sign language. They do that with the Maya
Wait a
and Dragon
minute.
Prince in like every scene. Like every scene she'll be talking to someone
Wasn't
who knows sign language, and her interpreter will be signing for her when he doesn't need to be.
Oh, if I recall,
And there was a
if I'm
moment like
thinking
that in
back,
Hawkeye.
I'm thinking about to that in Hawkeye, but I just assumed that there was a I just assumed that there was a from
No,
trying to
because it
remember
was
that there was a signer because the whole gang didn't speak sign language, so they had
no,
to
no,
have
no,
someone who was signing and speaking.
no, because it was in a scene where it was Maya speaking directly to Kingpin, and like they were having like a direct conversation.
It would
Like
be
they weren't
funny if
speaking to their gang; they were speaking to each other. Like,
uh
there was no need for her interpreter to be signing for her. Kingpin, like, kind of raised this girl, I'm assuming. I think it's went that way in the comics. So, like, the guy knows how to speak sign language. I feel like that's a skill he would have anyway.
you know, actually, dude, that actually is very in character. Now I think about it, like I was thinking about like, oh, Kingpin would be like, oh, you don't know sign language? How about Japanese? But then I was like, no, that's a video game Kingpin. I'm realizing, yeah, a guy like Kingpin who has like that sort of whispery voice, who doesn't raise his voice very much, and when he does, it's very important. I like to imagine that, like, if he's trying to say something secret in a room, he would do it in sign language so no one outside can hear it.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
So yeah, why not? Why
Yeah.
shouldn't the Kingpin behind things know sign language?
Yeah. Of course he should know sign language. That's just a convenient ability to have. Sign language is something that I want to learn, but I'm trying to learn Spanish right now. As much as you can learn from Duolingo. Anyway, we should probably.
Duolingo and not.
But yeah. But yeah, we should probably play the game.
Now in session for the trial of Mr. Will Powers. The prosecution is ready, Your Honor.
The defense is ready, Your Honor.
I'm ready, Your Honor.
I'm ready!
Mr. Edgeworth, your opening statement, please. The prosecution will show the court that at 2:30 p.m. on October 15th, defendant, Mr. Will Powers, killed fellow actor Jack Hammer at Studio One of Global Studios. It is impossible for anyone else to have committed this heinous crime. The evidence presented during the trial will all point to this fact. I see. Very well. We'd like to move on to some testimony. Mr. Edgeworth, the prosecution may call its first witness. Very well. I call a most familiar face. Very well. I call a most familiar face a Detective Gumshoe to the stand. Detective, if you would briefly describe the case to the court, this case to the court. Yes, sir. I'll explain with the guide map here. Oh, I should have the chat open too. Sorry.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
I do like the guide map. I think that.
Yeah, it's convenient.
To understand this case, it's important to grasp the layout of the studio. See? This here is the employee area. Actors did a run-through of their action scenes during the morning here. This is the main gate to the studios. Security lady that works at the studios was here at 1 p.m. on that day.
Where's cherries in her hair for some reason?
This morning I was only two head cherry. Was it one head cherry angry? But as you can see by my head, now I'm furious. I was getting the
such
beat loops, and I realized I need to set to do not disturb on streaming.
It was such a good bit. This morning I was
old
only
bit.
one cherry angry.
It's from this. It's from like a bit from like I think it was like a Jon Stewart or Colbert Report thing, where there was like this guy. There was like two people, and one person had like two microphones on their podium, and the other guy had a podium that was just surrounded by microphones of all the stations or whatever.
Oh.
And there was a translator, but then they dubbed over it, and it was like, "This morning I was only two microphones angry, but as you see by my podium, I am furious." So you could just reuse that joke at any time. Right?
Oh, that's awesome.
Past the security station, there's a gate, see? Past that are the studios. And here it is. There it is. Studio 1.
There it
That's where
is.
Cool Cat hangs out.
Whoop, there it is.
It's such a deep cut that I don't think anyone will get. It's like, what do you...
I didn't get it. I was just I didn't
Yeah,
get it. I didn't get it.
It's from someone's review. Someone had a review of Cool Cat, a lesser known like VHS that just has like a mascot suit.
Why does that
person in
sound
it.
familiar?
I think was it Phelan Porteous did a review of it?
Probably.
Yeah.
I probably watched it at some point.
Phelan Porteous? So formal. Please call me Phalus. I would, but it sounds like phallus if I say it too fast, so I say Phelan Porteous. I hope he doesn't watch this video and get like self-conscious and change his username and be like, no, his name is good.
These people ruined
It's
my name.
incompetence. This is the scene of the murder, where the body was found. Now, on the day of the murder, October 15th, there were only 3 people here.
It's funny because Phelan's Canadian, but he's that kind of Canadian where like you only hear it with certain words, like sorry, like he'll say sorry, but it'll be like in the middle of a sentence with like a very non-sounding Canadian voice, like yeah, haha, whatever, that shit's dumb, sorry.
You know, in the show OKKO, everybody says sorry as sorry. It's never commented upon, which is very interesting in that, like, keep in mind, this is like a lot of the production team, like Ian Jones-Cordy, they're the folks in like Steven Universe. And so I was thinking about that, and it's like somewhere on the animation notes or the voice acting notes or something was just, hey, read sorry as like a Canadian sorry, like that's just part of the lore. Like it's never explained.
Oh, that's funny.
I guess it's not that it's what's the word? It's not that it's weird and it should be the American sorry. It's weird in that like I'm pretty sure it was all the Americans who were working on Steven Universe who pronounced sorry with an ah sound. Were working on OKKO with a Canadian. Like it wasn't like a Canadian studio where it was like, oh, this was made by whatever Montreal.
Right.
I don't think so.
That's
so
interesting.
That's kind of interesting. I feel like you have to at least be like in Montana or something, like next to next to the border, with a studio there to be like, yeah, that would make sense.
Yeah.
Now, on the day of the murder, October 15th, there were only 3 people here, and they all had Canadian accents. But you know that kind of Canadian accent that only comes out with certain words?
Like when they say sorry and it
going-
sounds like sorry.
Hey, what's this all about?
What's this
The
about then,
victim-
huh?
Jack Hammer. Oh, that's what his headband looks like. The defendant, Will Powers. And the young woman, the production assistant. All the production staff were in the employee area until noon. Oh, that's one thing that I think is going to be important for like later. I don't actually know about later missions, but I think it's important for any like mystery LuJack. Is
Yeah.
just because where they find a body isn't necessarily where it died. It's likely, but if someone like moves a body, it changes everything. Where it's like, if I guess I do say like likely though, because like it's both difficult to and very noticeable to move a body. Probably know that from the Hitman games, and so
Yeah.
but it does change up like the whole formula where it's like, oh well, we found the body here, and it's like, yeah, but also like if there's no blood on the floor or whatever, then
Nobody
maybe
moved,
that's not where
there's
they
blood.
died.
Nobody moved, there's no blood on the floor. That might not be where they died.
Just the auditor from Daddy and the Big Boy. No blood on the floor. Very suspicious.
Very suspicious. There's I watched Game Grumps do a Let's Play of Danganronpa, which is a very memeable and I think slightly outdated game. But
I played a bit of Danganronpa. I got it in the sequel on behalf of my my little sister.
I want
and
to
I was
play.
like, this is neat, but it stresses me out too much.
It
really does.
I want to play the Danganronpa games. They look fun. But there's a chapter in the first one where the whole thing is like, there's a person who died. We need to figure out. And one of the big revelations of it is, hey, this isn't where they were killed. The body was moved, and it like changed the whole fucking like argument. It was.
I actually got to that.
It was a good twist.
Yeah, it was a good twist.
It was a good twist.
It's Danganronpa really like. I feel like I could probably appreciate a story that's like Danganronpa, but one thing that undercuts it is that I can't get attached. You know, people joke like, "Oh, I can't get attached to characters in like Game of Thrones because I know that a bunch of them die or whatever."
Yeah, well, that's kind of literally what happens with Danganronpa.
Danganronpa, it's like set up from the start that like
you know, going into the game that people are dying. They set it up that way.
Yeah, and that it's also how like the level design works. Like there has to be a trial, you have to figure it out. But because of that, it's like, oh, I'm no longer going like, oh, who should I hang out with to get lore about? I'm thinking, oh, who should I hang out with before they die or get killed?
Yeah, that's
or before they die or kill someone and then die because they were found guilty in the trial.
Yep.
There's technically 2 characters.
There's technically 2 deaths in every chapter. There's the person who dies, and then there's the person who gets punished for it by execution.
Yeah.
It's a very interesting series.
I gotta take this. Oh, sorry. Then after lunch, the victim, Jack Hammer, went to Studio 1. Allegedly. And sorry, I read that. Right after that, at 1 p.m., the security lady got to the guard station. Interesting. So there was a period where anyone could have gotten to that area. Now jump ahead later to that day, 5 p.m. At the water, I was rinsing off the spoon. Production staff came to Studio 1 to perform a rehearsal.
As you do.
They did rehearsals, walked over there, did some more rehearsals. Needless to say, the rehearsal was canceled.
Too many rehearsals. Everyone got sick of rehearsals.
I really hope everyone got to go home that day. I feel like that should be like a standard. It should be just in like the OSHA guidelines. If someone is dead at your workplace, whether or not it was a workplace accident, you get to go home.
Yeah, that's just...
to process it.
Yeah, you need to process that shit. Did you read that?
Time of death was 2:30 p.m. Wow, I think that's the first time we get to look at the staff, or the samurai spear.
Yeah.
So it's a flashback, so technically we're not supposed to see it in a way, but
True.
it
Yeah.
was found lodged in the victim's chest was the murder weapon. That's the case in brief. Kyle's here. Hey guys. Hey Kyle. Hey, it's for horses.
What up, Kyle? What's
Anyone like to
going
hear that again? What are you, the owl from Legend of Zelda?
on? Dude, that took me a minute to
Shallow
get.
cut for you Zelda fans.
I got that one, but I only got it because I watched like a million Zelda Let's Plays. I don't have a Nintendo. I want one.
You need to get you a Nintendo Swanch.
Nintendo Swanch. That's what I want. I want that, and I want a
I
Steam
love
Deck. Those are the two
I love
things
when
that
a
I want.
cartoon. I made a joke the other day where it was like, I love when a cartoon has like a funky like triangular console that's got like a bunch of handles on it, and it's called like the Nintendo Swanch. But then I realized that I sort of accidentally made that into a thing. Or technically, Big City Greens is the only like show that has a Nintendo Switch like device, but it's like parodied. Where in almost every other show, even like in the Pokemon universe itself, it's just looks like a Nintendo Switch and works like a Nintendo Switch, and is usually just called like a Nintendo Winch or whatever. Like it's not that bizarre. It's Big City Greens is the only one that actually does that joke,
I have not yet watched Big City
or
Greens.
that has done that. Big City Greens is a show that's like funnier than than you'd expect it to be. Like it's where it actually has some really good gags. I would definitely have it on my list of like if I made like YouTube poops, which I plan on doing soon because I have an associate who'll be teaching me how to edit. Um, I think a lot of my gags will probably be coming from Big City Greens because it's a fun show.
Fair enough. I think I can probably remember that.
I want to have the video, the sniper, the old lady who's a sniper from Far Cry 5, and then just the audio of Swamp Witch can't die.
Oh man, I need to get back to playing Far Cry 5. I never finished it.
No, you don't.
Well, I
I'm
do
sorry.
because I want to play all of the Far Cry games because that's just where I'm at
I
right
guess that
now.
makes sense.
You know,
All
I
right.
like to binge franchises even if there's a lot of bad entries. And 4 was fun and there's enough good ones before 5 that I'm sure I'll be able to deal with 5 when
I
I
feel
get
like
to it.
there's a couple really decent, really like good things in Far Cry 5. Specifically, uh, I like the fishing. I liked the helicopter levels because no, wait, that's New Dawn,
I
isn't it?
like the fact that we can both dress up as assassins and go barreling at each other at 100 miles per hour in the air and die.
I think we got a video of that
We
too, but
did. We
like,
were streaming it. We were streaming it on the
yeah,
PlayStation.
but like, yeah, we learned that. So if you collide with anything while using the wingsuit, you just instantly get downed, which makes sense. But I didn't realize that you could collide with
It.
another player in multiplayer.
Yep.
Like, hold on, let me see if I can get this shot of like above you, and I just land on Lucian, and we
Just.
just both instantly pass out and fall straight
We
down.
just die. Just instant death.
It's I feel like Far Cry 5 is one of those games that like is still pretty bad in multiplayer, but you'll at least be like, I feel like it's a good opportunity to show your friends a bad game, like structurally. Where it's like, oh, it's got really good mechanics, but it's really dumb.
Yeah.
Which is, I feel like, is the real tragedy of Far Cry, is having like such an addictive gameplay loop of like taking out guys in stealth and like having a guy like taking out a guy and stealing his knife and throwing that knife or whatever. Like it's got really solid mechanics, but then it's like I guess the writers' room was just like, hey, how do we do boss battles? Oh, we'll just have it that every time you like you get enough like boss points, the boss just like will like send their guys to knock you out, and then you have to like fight through a gauntlet that the boss built. Like it ends up feeling like you have no agency. Like you're not hunting the bosses; they're sort of bringing you to them, and then being too dumb about it and like dying from their own incompetence. It feels like the sort of the opposite of something like I don't know Shadow of War, where you get a boss to like leave their fort because you sabotaged a bunch of their stuff, and then you hunt them down, and they're like, "Oh, dang it!"
Right. I have played the third one and the fourth one. I need to play Blood Dragon and I need to play Primal. And
I thought you played Primal.
I played some of Primal, but I got distracted. But now I have Blood Dragon and I want to play Blood Dragon because it came before Primal, and I actually wanted to play it after Far Cry 3, but that was before I had a PC, and Blood Dragon was not on the PlayStation 4. So I didn't have a chance to play it until now.
Can you imagine if they made a game that was Assassin's Creed but with the mechanics of Far Cry? So it's in like first person, and you're sneaking around and stealing people's knives and throwing it at another guy.
I love that Watch Dogs and Assassin's Creed are in the same universe, but it would be bigger brain if like you connected Far Cry into it by just having a game where like someone has the apple of Eden and is using it to be bad.
I
Like
feel
you
like
don't
if
even
you
have to
wanted to connect.
explicitly say that it's in like Edom item. You could just like imply it with like its magical powers or whatever.
Well, that was my headcanon for making Far Cry 5 like a little better
Make it make
was
sense.
that
Get
yeah,
magic
that my
involved.
because like I mean honestly, how much do you want to bet that the original plot of Far Cry 5 was that the father had an apple of Eden and that's how he was running like this giant cult.
That
Like yes,
see
like you don't need the excuse for a giant cult. There are real giant cults that like built bunkers in Nevada, or sorry, not Nevada, Montana.
see
Sorry,
Jared Leto,
Nevada.
who
We
should
might have
not be
cults too,
acting
but
in movies. Why is he not in jail?
look, I'm just saying. I don't think I feel like having a cult should disqualify you from attending the Oscars, not slapping Kevin Hart. I feel like we should start at the top and work down instead of the other way around.
How is
Oh,
this guy
sorry.
still around?
No, but I thought how much you want to bet they wanted to have a plot line where it's like, hey, do you wonder where our like magic plants are coming from? Well, there's this weird like facility that's under the ground, and part of our plan with building the bunkers is that one of the holes we're digging is getting to an artifact thing. We already got an artifact, and that's how we've like mind control the whole like legion of zombie people or whatever. Like we could have like merged it in and made it that that's like what they were up to,
See,
but it wasn't.
See, that would not have only made for a good game, but it would have given us some cool interconnected universe shit. And I know that a lot of people are saying are on that MCU burnout where they were like, can we stop having connected universe? And to that I say, no, let's have connected universes, but like maybe a little smaller. Cause let's be real, dude, having shit from the Assassin's Creed franchise making its way into a Far Cry game, that would have made the fifth game way better.
Well, one of my other theories was that that sort of burnt out through or sort of like fizzled out throughout the game. My original theory was that the Seed family were either were not precursors, but like basically they're like capricious gods who wanted to mess around with humanity, and that's why they all had like this sort of god complex, which would explain why they were both like seemingly very like powerful or having a lot of influence over people, but also like were really dumb.
Yeah.
where the, and it would have also been like a poetic justice that they underestimated a random person who like just happened to be like this crazy killing machine. But yeah, it turns out it's like nah, they're just like a regular degular family, and most of their culty powers are the mundane, except for their magic flowers, which is par for the course for Far Cry. It doesn't have to be as an Assassin's Creed thing.
Yeah, Far Cry
Like,
is all about having like weird drug plants.
yeah, my joke is Far Cry is asking the question, what if drugs?
Yeah, that's just it. That's the question. Just what if
And look,
drugs?
we follow a code of practice. Real drugs have real consequences and are treated with like care, where it's like, yeah, or some amount of care, where it's like, yeah, marijuana gets you high, and LSD or whatever those other guys were using
Whatever those
might
guys are
mess with your
sticking into your
senses.
ass or whatever.
Yeah, and yeah, but then there's fictional drugs, and it's like, yeah, fictional. If they're fictional drugs, they can do whatever you want them to do. So yeah, they'll make you fireproof, as long as we're not saying that cocaine makes you fireproof or that marijuana gives you superpowers. Like
Fucking
those are
snow
two.
flame.
Well, that's. I think it's not only for like an ESRB thing, but I like that those things are kept separate. Where it's like, where if there was a character who was like, oh, I get mystic visions, but then like he just does like regular cocaine, I feel like he would be like one of those Mysterio easy boss battles where he's like, I'm so powerful, and you shoot him and he just dies. It's like,
Yeah.
oh, right, because he's that's not a potion, that's just like a regular drug.
Yeah.
It just makes you think you're invincible.
Oh
But
man.
no, my connection between Assassin's Creed and Far Cry was, what if all the magic what if all the like the magic roots and stuff that can give you superpowers were just bio experiments that the precursors like did. You know, the precursors like got to a point where they could do almost
Oh.
anything except keep the sun from blowing up.
Yeah, that would have been cool. That would have been
Like
some cool
they
lore.
probably could have made a plant that makes you fireproof,
Yeah, that
not
would.
sunproof, but you know.
Yeah, not sunproof. Nothing sunproof apparently. The sun will explode and it will kill all life on
How
Earth.
dumb of a twist would that be if it's like we deploy an aerosol gas that makes the whole planet sunproof, so like it looks like from the Earth's perspective, like the sun gets really bright and the air gets really hot for like a second, and then it just like the corona goes back down and everyone's just like, what happened? That was weird. Like it's it's like that episode of The Secret Show where they spray the whole planet with lucky spray so everyone's equally lucky. They're like, oh well, if we're all equally lucky, I don't know how that changes our. I guess we're all like normal amount of not lucky. And the only difference is that now the Earth isn't hit by asteroids.
Wait, what show is that?
The Secret Show. It was it's the one with the. It was a 2D British animated show. Let's see here. The
Dude, we gotta
Secret.
get back to playing the game.
Sorry. British animated television by Collingwood O'Hare, commissioned by BBC Worldwide. Um, and I have no idea how I ended up seeing it. I think, oh, it was on Disney Channel and Nickelodeon at one point.
Ah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Alright.
The murder
Did...
weapon was a spear. Medieval.
No, that's a different game.
Your Honor. This case is quite simple if you ask one question. Was Will Powers playing a lot of Assassin's Far Cry Primal, and he really wanted to stab someone with a spear?
No. He was going through an Assassin's Creed binge and then he got to Unity and his brain just kind of broke. He had to stab someone.
And that question is, what did the security lady at the guard station see? I'm losing my Edgeworth voice. I need to get it back to
It's like a
Shadow the
little
Hedgehog thing.
raspy, little vampire-y.
Understood.
This case, Your Honor.
Let's call this security officer to the stand.
Cherry lady.
Will the witness declare her name?
Ah, I forgot to put my phone on vibrate. Quiet, Armstrong. No one wants to hear you yelling about nanomachines.
I thought you were quiet, Armstrong. No one wants to hear you shout, Edward, I found you in the library.
I found you, Elrex! What the heck, Major? Shh, this is a library.
The Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood doesn't just have one joke. It has multiple jokes, and that's one of them.
It has all
Is
of the
freaking out
jokes.
someone in the library, and then when they shout at you, being like,
Sorry,
huh?
disturbing
Oh, right, that was my
libraries
line.
and then whispering about how their libraries has been a distraction tactic that's been passed down the Armstrong line for
On the line for
generations.
generation. Oh yeah, that's another one. The putting anything on that list of has been in the Armstrong family line for generations.
Oh wow, you're a really good artist. Thank you. The ability's been passed down the Armstrong line for generations.
I read the line.
Sorry.
Oh right, I was gonna. It was like a sort of Bostonian Miss LeBon's. Hi, you a handsome fellow. I'm afraid I'm a bit flustered. Your name, please.
Edgeworth is like, dude, I ain't playing this game with you.
Oh dearie, no need for you to be embarrassed. You can call me Grandma.
I'm not calling you Grandma.
Your name, please.
Seems Edgeworth has a bit of a trouble getting his witness to say their names.
Wendy. Wendy Oldbag. Wendy Oldbag, dearie.
Oh, Kyle says that Kenny from high school is making YouTube poops now. Good for him.
Nice.
Neat shit.
Unaccidental.
There you go.
Another children. Can believe it. This boy, the captain of Chester Junior High, called me the old bag, and I just cried.
And I never used a public toilet again.
And I never used a public toilet again. I look forward to the day when someone watching our stream is like, oh, I know what that's from, and then tells me, because all I know is that there used to be like a Circuit City that had arcade games in the back, and it was like what's it called, like Shaolin Warriors 2 or something, and basically there was like a level that was a dream sequence that a character was having, and when you got out of it, whether you won or you lost, you would wake up, and there'd be your sensei, and he would be finishing a really funny story. So you'd wake up and he'd be like, and I never used a public restroom again. And that's where my entire genre of humor, an entire genre of humor comes from, where I'm like, it would be really funny if you walk in and someone's clearly finishing a really good story.
Oh yeah. Oh my god. Did you read this?
Objection. I object to this witness's talkativeness. Objections sustained. Witness will refrain from rambling on the stand. That's what happens when you have a glass of wine before the show. I was just getting to the good part, dearie. I feel like I should have gone with a different accent with dearie, but
maybe.
Perhaps we could get to the testimony? Can I get you anything else, sir? Yeah, can I get a testimony?
Can I get some testimony, please?
Can I get some affidavits up in here?
Can I get a guilty verdict, maybe?
Affidavit.
I need an affidavit.
Now the witness was stationed at the main gate on the day of the murder, correct? Yes, I was. And to get to the scene of the murder, someone would have to pass by you. You know your stuff, dearie.
Wait, is she married? She has a wedding ring.
Oh, I didn't think of that. I don't know. You may begin your testimony. I'm glad that he asked those questions just to clarify, because I feel like in this universe, someone really would go to the stand, and it'd be like, oh, and I saw this and I saw that, and I was the only one there that day, and it's like, can we clarify that you were there October 15th? And they'd be like, oh no, I wasn't there on 15th.
Right. She sure is one hell of an old bug.
Old big.
Old big man. Phoenix, you can see the part in the middle of his hair where you can tell that there would be another side of his spiky hair going out. So it's not like it's just this one big mess going back. It's like two separate pieces going in different directions.
I just realized something. If you wanted to do a Phoenix Wright movie, you would probably want like comedy actors to some degree, but like
Probably.
comedy actors that emote a lot, because the trick is that all the characters are sort of larger than life.
Yeah, they are.
But the thing about that is that, like, honestly, I feel like a Phoenix. Wasn't there? I keep forgetting. Wasn't there like a whole Phoenix Wright anime? Like, I feel like
There is an
it
anime,
already
and
worked
it's
in that
one that
format.
is on my list of things to watch.
Ah,
It's on my backlog.
how many logs do you have?
Very many. I have a log pose. No, I don't. Shout out to any One Piece fans who got that deep cut. Is it a deep cut?
That
One
just-
Piece is a big anime. It's probably not that deep of a cut.
No, I'm just imagining that like cat really close to the camera meme, and it says, and it's just like, but it's Nami, and it opens up the log post, no logs.
No logs.
On the day of the murder, I arrived at the guard station at 1 p.m. Poor old Ham and the rest have been doing a run through there since the morning. I had some errands to run that morning. Anyway, it was 1 o'clock when I got to the guard station. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. No one's in the chat.
What?
Except,
Hello. What's that?
Except it's
Oh.
one of them spamulings.
Oh, it's a bot
Get outta
thing.
here.
Nah, get rid of that. Thank you.
Boo. I'm gonna
No.
say boo in the chat.
Not on our
Was that the-
channel.
Was that the main? I am having that. Okay.
Yeah, have a
I
nice
was at
shit.
the main gate. I was at the main gate from then until 5. Now the murder happened at 2:30 p.m., right? Interesting to me because a certain man walked by me at 2 p.m. It was Powers, that man right there, and he was heading toward the studio. I didn't notice that he was like 2 feet shorter and his pants were dragging on the ground.
Yeah, seriously.
I just assume it was a samurai thing. I don't actually watch the show.
I don't know anything about samurais. I assume they all have pants that are too long. I know.
No, it's pants that are very wide, not pants that are very long.
Just imagine Jin Sakai with like his pant legs dragging on the ground. I am a ghost tripping over his own pant legs. Oh my god, fuck!
Actually, no, he uses them like that one Pokemon where like when he kicks, they sort of like whip through the air and they snap on his opponents.
That I could say in Ghost of Tsushima.
You said Jin Sakai, and instead of like Jin, I thought you were talking about what's his name? I was, for some reason I thought of what's his name? Gin from Gintama. He's
What?
a wooden sword and
No!
very long pants. So he's going around bonking people with his wooden sword and whipping people with his whippy pants.
No, Jin Sakai from Ghost of Tsushima.
I've one important thought on Ghost of Tsushima, which is I wish that all the characters were allowed to emote more, or all the actors were allowed to emote more, because like.
Yeah.
Because like I know the actor for Gian has like range, because if you ever listen to like when he's like alone and when he's like at the like hot springs or whatever, he'll be like, that's interesting. And whenever he says my joke is that like when he's talking to people and he's like the stone face emoji, and when he's talking to his horse, he's like, that's my Kage, most beautiful horse in the world. What a beast. What a creature. And I'm like, man, I wish that he was allowed to emote that much with all the other characters. Where it's just like, oh, I love this guy. Oh, I hate that guy.
Nah, there's samurai. There's like a code on how they're supposed to behave and shit.
There's gotta be like some kind of exceptions, right? I wonder if like someone along the chain of like the animation and voice acting like team or whatever was like, oh, well, clearly as a samurai, he should always be like stone faced. And I'm like, I mean, even if that's completely 100% accurate, it doesn't make for as good of a game.
Yeah.
All right, was it? You shot the defendant then? Very well, let's begin the cross-examination. Mr. Wright?
Yes, Your Honor. Witnesses you count.
On the day of the murder, I arrived. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, you read all this stuff already. Okay. Alright, let's run through these real quick. Station at 1 p.m. Bill Hammer and the rest have been doing a run through there since the morning.
I would press her on the I had errands to do. Like, we can go into details about the other stuff, but I feel like the errands is like a loose end that we need to, what's the word?
Rest? Yeah.
Address, yes.
Yeah, address. What kind of errands?
Hey, Oldbeck, are you finished with those errands? Oh, sorry. Oh, well, you know. No, I don't.
No, I don't. Answer the question. Look at my sick attorney bet. See, look here. You can see where his hair part's in the middle. Like, there's a whole nother set of 4 spikes on the other side of his head.
Yeah.
And I just...
So the back of his head... I like your theory that, like you were saying, like, what is it? Is the back of his head like a grid of spikes? And I was thinking, like, nah, the back of his head looks like one of those, like, those old fancy cars where the sides are like flared out, but the back of his head is like rounded.
Yeah.
It's got like its fins on the side.
Oh, yeah. It's just side fins, but yeah, I see what you're saying. So it's like the opposite of Sonic.
Well, like Sonic is like like all spikes and they're curved and they're
and they go like
pattern.
Straight back. His is just like fins that like are on the
straight
side.
Back and in a grid, but the back would probably be rounded.
You know, I feel like it would be jarring to see both sides of his hair at the same time. I don't know.
Like how? Like in a mirror? Like with some kind of weird...
Like, I don't know. It's just, I feel like I need to see a 3D version of Phoenix right now.
Yeah. Wait, you probably could with one of the like Marvel vs. Capcom games. Maybe they figured it out.
Oh, maybe that's worth looking into.
There's always someone there's always someone who's figured it out. You know, like Spider-Man PS4, and they figured out how to make a Taskmaster's outfit like really cool.
They also found the weird creepy people that like don't actually exist and look weird way out in the ocean. In like a boat or something. Wasn't that like, or was it in a boat? Like they were so far out of like the game map that they weren't really...
Oh no, you were talking about, are we talking about Spider-Man PS4 or
Yeah, Spider-Man PS4. No, PS4.
Like the you're talking about like far render people.
Yeah,
like tessellated.
Yeah, those guys.
Those are always pretty funky.
Yeah, I actually
saw a version of that where there's a way to like glitch out the meshes in GTA, and so Franklin would load in, and it looks like he's wearing he's low res, but it looks like he's wearing like gray sweatpants that are just like really big and poofy. His shirt is like plaid, but it goes all the way up like to his neck, and then it looks like he's got like a thing over his entire head.
Yeah.
like he has like lapels that were supposed to be folded down, but then he unfolded them and buttoned them up over his entire head. It's bizarre.
Yeah. Answer the question. Curse things.
Actually, I was watching poor Hammer and Powers, observing, you know? Oh, she's in the back. She got the scream face.
Oh, yeah.
What if she is a fan?
Yeah, looks like it.
Oh, because she's a fan of Jack.
Yeah, because she likes Jack Hammer. Observing? Weren't you supposed to be at the guard station? What? Were you on observation duty?
Yes, and I reported the anomalies. That's a deep cut for I guess people who know about that.
Yeah, I guess.
I need to address that game because I've seen the Game Grumps play. I didn't even know that they played it until recently, but
Yep.
I remember being like, "Oh, they played this. They played Observation Duty and Observation Duty 2, and like the game has interesting mechanics, but it is so like it's. Is it just me or it feels super weird because I swear there are people who are like, "Oh, I love this game. We gotta play this game. I hope they play the second game." And then like I saw it and I was like, "This game is okay." Like but like it doesn't like it didn't stick with me. It wasn't like the game like Try to Go to Sleep where it feels like an incomplete game, but like felt like a demo for a really good game.
Right.
Like I'm on observation duty was like, "Oh, okay, I gotta report the anomalies or whatever." It felt like I hesitate to say a FNAF-like, but you know what I mean. Like you look at different rooms,
Yeah.
what they're doing, and you say what's going. You do a drop-down menu on what's going on. Honestly, it would be a really solid game if there weren't like 24 types of anomalies.
Yeah.
Because I don't think the game like trains the player enough to recognize the difference between, I don't know, like a shadow and a shadow creature or something.
Right. Okay.
One is the ultimate life form.
The ultimate life form.
Whippersnapper, I told you I locked the gate, didn't I? I did my job.
I'm not sure.
Wait, remember what we learned, that we know that one of the that there were 2 pictures taken and that one was deleted.
Oh yeah, that's right. I'm not sure your boss would see it that way.
Anyway, I always watch Hammers run throughs. Always. No, I feel like the localization team. Clearly, I feel like the localization team missed an opportunity for a character to be like, I love seeing the run throughs. Oh wait, that came out wrong. Because someone got ran through. Never missed one in all my years. Oh, I want to see a Steel Samurai run through too.
It's a poor choice of words.
Oh, it's so sad though. Because until they hire like another person or whatever, like I mean you won't get to see more of them. Die.
Yeah. You could quit being
and Desmond never got to meet his mom.
Yeah, Desmond.
Still hung up about it.
I'm still hung up on the fact
sad.
that he didn't become a badass assassin that we got to play as in a modern day setting. Like, we could have just...
did get to go to Brazil.
We did, but we could have kept Desmond around and used him for modern day shit while continuing to integrate it with anime shit. Like, it was a good formula. We should have kept it. But no, you had to, like, deprive us of a main character in the modern era for, like, 4 fucking games until Origins.
By the way, this would, not to, like... I mean, I would like to bring Desmond back, but also, like, it would mess with his sacrifice if he could come back. But on the other hand, it still could. You could be like, oh, well, he was absorbed into the orb, obviously.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, and then he needs a new body, and then you make him a cyborg, and he's a cyborg assassin.
Yeah, no, you just 3D print an entire version of him in Watch Dogs.
Yeah, obviously, just 3D print an entire version of him in Watch Dogs. It is time for you to fulfill your destiny and become the ultimate assassin. Now you're a 3D printed thing, which means I don't know. I guess you're probably immortal. Anyway, go kill things.
Man.
You could quit being a spirit medium and take up guard duty.
Not a bad idea. No. I don't recommend guard duty for anyone who is averse to conflict. In fact, I don't recommend guard duty for most people, honestly.
Yeah.
That's the
Uh,
thing is that's like I don't know if I'd have the patience to be a guard, but even if I did, I wouldn't want I don't want a job where like sure technically in any job you might get into a fight. Any job where you have people around you. But like more specifically like if my job was is to for my presence to keep other people away or specific like people who don't have like tickets or whatever the heck. I don't feel like I'm aggressive enough to deal with that.
yeah, I couldn't do it either.
I'm more of the person who'd be like, yeah, I guess you can get in on a card.
Yeah,
That's my
sure.
problem. I can't commit to that. I need
Yeah.
a really good reason to keep someone out.
Yeah, yeah.
Anyway, oh no, that was
We should call
okay,
it
1 p.m.
here.
That's the guard station. Editor, add in when we start up this next session, when we start up this game, add just another cherry to her hair in post. Like none of us will comment on it because it's in post production, but like it'll just be there.
Just edit a cherry onto her hair, an extra cherry.
Every time it cuts away to someone else's sprite and then back to her, she'll have another cherry.
Yes, and then like it'll have to start going. It'll like you'll have it go down a little to like the lower part of her neck, and then it'll start going the other way till it eventually goes all the way the other way, and it's just a hair full of cherries.
Oh yeah, like Carmen Miranda, but only one type of fruit.
Yeah. Anyway.
I like shout out to Carmen Miranda for that, just letting us make that specific joke without like more cultural context. At least I think that was Carmen Miranda. It was before my time, but like cartoons for like decades like would reference it, where it's like, what if you had an outfit that was like you had an entire like thing of like cornucopia of fruit as a hat. And I always go, yeah, that's a pretty cool gag. That's interesting.
Cool shit. Anyway, we should call it here.
Kyle's saying good night and have a happy new year. Or he goes, fish emoji. Good night, have a happy new year. Santa emoji, and then
Illuminati.
So,
thank you, Kyle.
You'll be doing the outro.
Yes. I've been Taylor. I've been Lou Jack. Fuck.
I've been Taylor.
And I'm reminding you to take care.
Stay awesome.
Go watch Owl House.
And go watch Amphibia just so you can like use it as a control group, you know?
Yeah, Thor Love and Thunder is like gay by Amphibia standards, in the sense that you get a scrap of representation in one scene, and that's like
it. It hurts my soul. You're right, but I don't want to. He's out of line, but he's right.
Amphibia's an amazing show, though.
That's extra funny as a meme because Jack recently saw Falcon and the Winter Soldier, so.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right.
Oh, that hurts my soul, but you're kind of right.
Oh, it is. Anyway, bye.
Bye.
Oh my god.